Hey guys, what's going on? vidvix here, and today is the infamous day that we will never forget and always remember, 9/11. And I just wanted to do a 9/11 vlog. I don't think I've ever done one of these before, but I just feel that, it's time that I shared my 9/11 story with you guys and just talk about, what 9/11 means to me from my perspective. And first I want to just share with you guys my 9/11 story, what I remember about the day itself, 9/11, 2001. It was, I was in high school at that time. I was in ninth grade. I just started high school, and I remember I was in my English class, and my professor, my teacher, he told us that something happened, in Manhattan at the World Trade Center towers, that one of them got hit. And at first, I guess the class just didn't really know how to process what happened, because it's like, we're in school, we just get a emergency announcement, and it was just like, okay, well, wow, that's crazy. And then when we heard that a second plane hit the second tower, then we're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? A lot of people started getting worried, and, majority of my friends in high school obviously had parents that worked in the city, so, they were trying to contact them through cell phone and make sure they were okay, and it was just a frantic time. And for me personally, I didn't really know how to process it, because I wasn't understanding how it affected me personally. And I guess it was a selfish high school state of mind that this was a little bit bigger than me. And then, I did remember that my stepmom, she worked in the city at that point, and she was more affected by 9/11 than anybody else. I mean, she was in the middle of, people running and her having to cross the bridge to walk back to Brooklyn, and, everybody just frantically trying to get away from the chaos that was happening. So she was more directly affected by this day than, anybody else that I know. And it was just a crazy day. I mean, it was a crazy day because everything was so quick and unexpected, obviously. And for me, 9/11 is just one of those days that, quite frankly, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but I would like to forget 9/11. Not because, it's not an important part of the history of this nation, or, even New York, but it just brings up so much hard memories, for people that lost people, in the buildings. Like, a lot of people passed away, a lot of people were killed in that attack, and it's just, it's just something that you don't always want to think about, you know what I'm saying? I understand why we never forget, and we always will remember, because we want to honor the memory of those people that horribly, died during that event. But it's not exactly the best memory. I mean, holding their honor is always a good thing, but, just rehashing that fateful day is another, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to throw a political twist on it, like, no, it wasn't the terrorist's fault, it was government's fault, Bush was behind 9/11, and there's a whole lot of theories and conspiracies and, things that people will say about the day, but the fact remains that a lot of innocent people died, regardless of who was behind it. I'm not, team terrorist or team, Bush. I don't know. I don't really have a stance on who's really behind it. I mean, I have watched documentaries that showed evidence of certain things that would implicate that the government or Bush at that time was behind it and all that stuff. But, I mean, just to throw all those theories aside, the fact remains that it was still a tragic day. And, I think in that regard, yeah, it should be remembered, even though it's kind of hard to remember. And 11 years now, later, honestly, like, 9/11, the date itself just snuck up on me. Like, yesterday I was just, living my day casually, and I'm sure, 11 years ago, that's how everybody else was, the day before 9/11. Just a regular day, even the day of was just a regular day, and then some crazy stuff happened, planes crashing into a tower is not exactly what anybody would expect. Yeah, I think it sucks how every day you know, it's just a typical day until something tragic happens, and you never know. You know, just like the recent Empire State Building shooting. You know, like, it was just a typical Friday morning, and then all of a sudden, chaos, terror, you know, it just comes out of nowhere. There's no warning, there's no alert. I think that's one of the most scariest feelings, knowing that a day that seems normal turns abnormal in a matter of moments, and no one's prepared for it. Just the fact of not being prepared, I think that's a scary feeling. But currently right now, there's a whole bunch of people at the World Trade Center site in the city that are, you know, recalling the names of their loved ones and other loved ones that have passed away or have died during that day, and just keeping them in their memories, because, you know, the fact that that specific day itself is an anchor in the whole world. You know, we're living in a post 9/11 world where, you know, security for, you know, airports are more tight, and the TSA is really cracking down on things. Like, you know, that day shaped the way we look at terror and, you know, safety. And, you know, I don't want to say that 9/11 needed to happen in order for these things to be implemented, but sadly, you know, tragedy brings unity. You know, and sadly, that's the only way that most of us will unite under one tragic event, and it just had to be 9/11. So today, everybody, I guess, is, you know, coming in solidarity for this day that will never be forgotten. And I just want to hear your stories. I want to hear what you guys experienced that day. If you guys could even remember back 2001, you know, share your stories down below. It would be cool just to hear everybody's, you know, reflections on it. Even if you weren't in New York City, even if you weren't in DC, where, you know, the Pentagon and other places were struck, just, you know, talk about it from your standpoint. How do you reflect on 9/11 today? You know, leave a comment and, you know, start a discussion. You know, this is the only day that we could all kind of share in this experience of remembrance. So, you know, let's start a conversation. And if you don't feel comfortable about it, that's okay too. Just, you know, remember the day for how you remember it, and just know that us as a nation is stronger because of it. I think that's the only thing that I could take out of this day. Another reason why I kind of like superheroes, a little tangent, is because, you know, superheroes are able to transcend, you know, tragedy and bring hope to people. And even though there aren't real superheroes, the heroes out there are the people of the fire department that were out that day helping people, and the police department. Those are the real heroes, as cliche as it may sound, but they actually did help, and they were heroic. And I think the heroism in people shouts more than actual superheroism. So, yeah, shout outs to, you know, the fire department and the NYPD for being heroes that day, because in this tragic world we live in, sometimes heroes are definitely needed. Didn't mean to make this somber, but, I mean, it is a day that, you know, we should always reflect on. So thank you guys for watching, and share your stories down below. Alright guys, fade out.